Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐸 Tripathi from 𝐷. Today is October 14th, and as the date of this recording, there's a lot of things going on around the world that could affect immigration. There's things such as the Ukraine war with Russia and Russia's war with Ukraine. There's also things going on right now with the Israeli Palestine conflict involving Hamas's unprecedented attack on Israel, and Israel also rebutting them back. This leaves a lot of people displaced, a lot of innocent civilians from both the Palestinian side along with the Israeli side who are suffering. This also comes at a time where in the United States there is a House of Representatives where the Speaker of the House, basically Mr. McCarthy, has now been been kicked out by fellow House Republicans along with Democrats. And you're probably wondering, how does all this really affect my case as an immigrant? Why should I really pay close attention to U.S. policy and foreign policy, geopolitical crises going on, and also what's going on with domestic affairs? Well, all this comes at a time when there's a new election coming up. There's also, in the United States, you're also seeing that now Steve Scalise has now fallen out of the race, and now you're seeing Jim Jordan be the front runner to run for the Speaker of the House. And you're probably wondering, why does that matter? Well, because if there was a government shutdown, if McCarthy had not basically kept the government open, then that means immigration would have fundamentally shut down for a while for things that are not considered essential, which means ultimately you as the immigrant, your case processing times get longer because the government shut down, money is not being put towards USCIS and the State Department for immigration related activities, which ultimately ends up prolonging your case. So these are all things that, if you think about it from a domestic or international perspective, it all kind of affects your case. So there's a lot of things that are going on. You also saw there was issues going on in the Kashmir region in India and in Pakistan. That's always been going on, with Pakistan and China. You're seeing maybe in the future China maybe invading Taiwan. You're seeing a lot of things going on all over the world. This affects and displaces millions of migrants and immigrants all across the world. You're seeing unprecedented issues going on at the southern and northern border of the United States. You're also seeing things in Venezuela where Venezuelans are getting temporary protected status because of the Maduro regime. So there's just a lot going on in the world, right? If you think about any country, there's some immigration crisis going on, and how can 𝐷 help you navigate that? There's also this whole thing in Afghanistan with the Taliban. I mean, there's just everything, right? So at the end of it, the way you can actually utilize what's going on overseas, and our hearts go out to everyone who's suffering from this. Unfortunately, the world is not at peace due to instability in various regions all across the world. But that does not mean that you can't find help, that you can't find good people here in these United States, good attorneys who care about the humanitarian plight that is going on all across the world and how it impacts your case and your family's case. A lot of you listening in are maybe listening in from a bunker right now while you're in Israel, while the Palestinians and Hamas, are basically attacking. Or you might be Palestinian and you might have Israelis attacking. You're just caught in between the strife because you're a civilian. Between two warmongering type nations that are just trying to look out for their own sovereignty. So there's a lot going on. Instead of getting political, what I want to talk about today is how can we actually help you? There's a lot of humanitarian programs. The U.S. State Department, fundamentally, their job, which I have experience working in the U.S. State Department in D.C., we worked on a lot of different endeavors helping people. And one of the biggest things is when you're suffering through these kind of conflicts, know that you do have opportunities. Number one thing is staying alive, of course, trying to keep your family safe, and ultimately navigating the complex international rules and regulations within your own countries. But fundamentally, if you're able to get to an embassy that is active, there are opportunities for you to seek humanitarian parole. There's opportunities for you to actually, if you serve as a translator or an interpreter with the United States military or other foreign militaries like the United Kingdom or other partners of the U.S., and you've helped them. Maybe you're someone who's working as a contractor with the government and you have someone that in the military that you've worked with that can write you a sponsor letter. These are all things that can really help you. And this goes beyond law, it goes beyond immigration, it goes beyond everything. It's basically humanity at its finest. It's us helping y'all basically have a better life here in the United States. For people who have been persecuted, you also have asylum rights, you have asylum claims if you're to come across the northern or southern border of the United States. There's also opportunities for you to look at UN Convention Against Torture laws. There's a lot of various elements that we would love to speak with you about here at 𝐷, because when our community suffers, we all suffer. And I fundamentally believe, and our law firm believes, that if you are going through so much in your home country, there's a lot going on in these different countries, and you do have rights. You still have international rights. There's the Hague Convention, there's UN rights, and ultimately there's the United States. And the United States is a beacon of hope for people who are going through a lot of plight, and maybe their home countries or their governments have not provided them enough to protect them and their families. So if you have any questions and you're listening into this, or maybe you're part of the group that's in the surrounding areas, maybe you're in Egypt and you're seeing a lot of people move into Egypt from the Israeli Palestine conflict, or maybe you're in China and you're dealing with the Uyghur crisis where people are getting put in concentration camps, you're dealing with North Korea, South Korea issues, whatever it may be, give us a call. We bring that sort of expertise to basically find out creative legal strategies and utilize our partners, our strategic partners, to either get you out of the country and get you in a location where you can then go for that interview, or ultimately be in a position where you can utilize legal means through humanitarian parole or other sorts of relief that the US government provides based on various levels, based on what country you come from. There's a lot of various laws that are just created for certain countries. So for example, if you're in Venezuela, you get TPS. So temporary protected status, so you can escape the inflation and the rising costs of milk and eggs, or just to having a basic standard of living. Humanitarian rights based on the Sustainable Development Goals that the UN has created, SDGs. These are all things that can ultimately help you. So if you want a professional who's going to really look at your case very molecularly and very surgically, and look at kind of how we can help you based on the country you came from, based on what issues you faced, and what kind of crimes that you've witnessed and things that you've gone through, give us a call. We're here to help you. It's a whole area of law called humanitarian immigration law, and we're happy to help you with that. So if you have any questions, let us know. We're here to help. Our hearts again go out to everyone who's suffering, but we wish you the best. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐻𝐾, and stay safe out there, and give us a call if you need anything.